Gwen Stefani is in studio looking so cute.
Thank you.
With an amazing ensemble.
Thank you.
I am so excited to have you. We've wanted to have you on the podcast for so long.
Really?
Yes.
Dang.
Of course.
Yes.
Well, congratulations to you guys. I mean, it's pretty. I looked you guys up before I came. I was like, wow, they did it. Like, they're huge. It's rare.
That's
you know what I
very
mean?
nice.
And you're old school. And you're doing so many things. It's cool. It's nice
I'm
to meet
bouncing
you guys.
around.
Michael's
Maybe
gonna
I'll learn
take
something today.
Michael's gonna take that clip and play it
I
to
was
himself while
I
I
was
listen
in
in the
my
mirror.
office warming up to your song, Just a Girl. I was in there like rocking out because I was like, when we first started, we met when we were 12.
I heard this story right before I came in, and it's so cute. Keep going.
That song was banging back then. I was like, that was probably on some of our date, routines.
It's so funny. My son met his girlfriend when they were in 6th grade, and they're still together.
How old are they
well,
now?
now he's going to be 18. And they're like so awesome together. And then my little baby brother, who you just met, the guy that's with me, he met his wife, my sister-in-law, when they were 15. And they're still together. And then my parents met when they were 15, and they're still together. So it's not like that like common. But it's so inspiring to meet somebody that met their soulmate when they were little.
Yeah, I put him on ice.
She
for a
put me
while.
on pause for like
Smart.
10 years, 8 years, 9 years.
I was like,
That's a long time.
I need a beat. I need a minute.
But then, no, yeah. you know.
Okay, there's so much to cover with you, but I just would love to tell your story from the beginning. Where'd you grow up? What was your childhood like? Let's go way, way, way back before all your success.
Oh, I thought you were going to read something. I'm like, oh, you want me to say my story?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, I was born in Anaheim, California, which is right down there on the 5. And I have, like I told you, my parents met when they were in high school. They went to Anaheim High School. And my parents were pretty, like, into music. Like, my dad played guitar and piano. And there's a little music in the family. Like, my grandma was, like, this fiery redhead that played the trumpet. At that time, that was kind of crazy. Her dad, like, reconstructed, like, pianos. This is, like, in the Depression when they came here. It's, like, crazy history. But then fast forward to being in a dyslexic little girl that didn't know and, like, didn't know what I was going to do when I grew up at all and had no, like, gifts or talents or ambitions or not even dreams. I was just like, how do I get through this class? And then we started a band and I was 17 and there was, like, a high school talent show. And so my older brother was, like, the really talented, like, eccentric guy. And I just kind of was, like, really looked up to him. He was, like, my best friend in high school. We did everything together. And he played keyboards, and he's the one that brought home, like, this Madness record, which is a band out of England that did this music called ska, which was super underground. Nobody, like, really knew it. Some people might have known, like, Our House or, like, It Must Be Love, which was just, like, 2 songs they played. But
Like Operation Ivy type stuff?
it was way before that, but it was, like, ska. So it basically started around the same time as, like, punk rock in the late 70s, like, in England.
Very, like, punk rock vibe.
It was
yeah?
very punk rock,
Yeah.
and there was, like, a lot of bands that went in that whole thing. So we got really into that, and we thought, oh my gosh, we discovered something nobody knows. And so we did the talent show. Then we were like, okay, now we're gonna make a real band. Like, that was so fun. And then we did No Doubt, and we weren't trying to, like, make it. We were just like, this is what we do. Like, this is what we do.
When you're really, really little, though, do you look back and see little moments where you were musically talented? Like, now that you don't see anything. There's nothing that you look back and think.
The only thing I know is that, like, I'd be in the back of the station wagon on the way to church, like, and I feel like I knew, like, every song that would come on the radio. I could sing along to it. And I knew that I liked singing. Like, I could sing, but I don't mean like I could sing. I just felt like physically loved to sing. And I would sing along to, like, the Annie soundtrack or, like, The Sound of Music, or, like, I was really into, like, those kind of musicals when I was a kid. But I promise you, like, I was like one of those, like, until, like, I didn't know anything about who I was or what I was going to be until I wrote my first song. And when I wrote my first song, I didn't even know I could write a song. I just, like, it just happened. Like, I always feel like it just channeled down, and it was like God's gift to me. And I'm like, oh my God, really? I can do this? It was like a magical power that I didn't know I had.
And nobody taught you how to, like, put them together or?
No, because my brother was the main songwriter in the group, and he's so creative and so incredible. And he ended up, like, quitting the band after about 9 years because he was an animator and he was working for The Simpsons, and he just wanted, he's like a true artist in the sense he didn't want to collaborate. He didn't want a label. He didn't want anyone trying to like change him, or, you know what I mean? He's like a very purist kind of guy. And yeah, so then I started writing because he was not there. So then and then also I got broken up with, and then it was like when he quit the band and I got broken up with it around the same time, that's when I was like, okay, they just came out. I don't even know how to describe it.
Why didn't you write any songs when I broke up with you?
I didn't write songs.
What the hell's going on with you?
I dated other guys.
I was in there writing terrible songs. Nobody would listen though.
So do you remember the first moment that you started to feel traction and momentum within your band?
I can remember, like, it's so cute when I think back to how young we were and like the way we had this our own like world within our own world. Like nobody was telling us what to do. We didn't have a label. Nobody was telling me, oh, put your makeup like this or wear this or any. It was just homemade, like completely homemade. And to the point where we like had like a cigarette, like a cigar box, like the band account, like literally like old school with money in it. Like every time you'd make money, you'd put it in, it would go back into the band. Like it was really like organized for a bunch of nerds that had no idea what they were doing. But we were all going to college and we all had other plans to try to be something and make it. And, you know, we were all just kind of good kids, but we just loved doing this music. And my brother ended up moving out into my grandma and grandpa's house after they passed away. And it was in Anaheim on this street called the Beacon Street. And it's where my dad grew up. And he lived there and I lived like 5 minutes away.
When you did you guys just start touring and then people discover you, or did you actively go out to?
We didn't have any means to really tour. Like I was saying, like my brother moved into this house and it became the band house, right? And so I lived like 5 minutes with my parents still. So I lived with my parents till I was 26, and I was just kept going because, like I told you, I was like dyslexic. I had to start over again with college. So I went to like community college, and I had to like get all the points and everything to like finally go and transfer to Cal State Fullerton. And then I was going to be an art major, and I was just floating. I don't even know how to describe it. Like that's why I really believe in my like God, because it's like otherwise, like how did this happen? Like it's so ridiculous. But I basically at that time, so then all the other members started coming together because there's like a lot of different evolution of people that ended up being the No Doubt. And then those guys like moved into the band house, and when we built like a studio there, and we would just go there and we would rehearse like every Thursday and Sunday, like and everybody was going to school. So I think at that time we knew that we were lucky. Like we just always were good live, and we could go play places and people would come. I don't know why. Like I can remember the first time I went to Tower Records and I went in there and I was like, oh my God, I think people are recognizing me. Like this is like
I remember shopping
Anaheim,
in
like,
Tower Records for your CD.
That's so funny.
When they used to have them.
I remember buying your CD. It might have been Warehouse. But
either way,
either
cool.
one. Yeah.
I remember like being at this camp, Camp Fox. It was summer
yes,
camp.
We went to Camp
Yeah,
Fox.
I went to Camp Fox, and I remember
We grew up in
somebody.
San Diego, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And I remember like somebody being, "Hey, yeah, we heard your demo," and I was like, "What? How?" Like, because we used to make like little cassettes and like give them out, you know, like 50. How did you hear? It's like we only made 20 or whatever. So it was just really like a slow burn, and we never thought we were going to make it, but I think our biggest goal was to tour or to have music like on a record. But how do you do that? You have to have money to do that. So until you get signed, which I didn't even really know what that meant, but the guys were like, we got to get signed or whatever. And the way we got signed was we found this guy that was working in the mailroom at William Morris Agency that was just this like surfer, kind of like skater guy that got friends with Tony. And he somehow put like a showcase together. And this guy, Tony Ferguson, that used to live in England and do all that. Like he used to work at this label called Stiff Records. That was like all the ska bands were on there. He saw us because he's English and he's like, oh my gosh, they're doing this here. Like what's going on? And so then he made us do a showcase for Jimmy Iovine. And Jimmy had just started Interscope. There was nobody on the label. I think it was Marky Mark maybe had been. And I think this band called Primus. I don't know if you remember them, but And he came down and he said to me, he pulled me aside at this like showcase. It's basically a showcase is like us in a room, like playing our song, like being all like crazy, like we're on stage, but there's nobody there but them. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like
sure.
a fake show. And he pulled me aside. He's like, yeah, like I didn't know who he was. I was so naive. He was like, you're going to be a star in 6 years. And I was like, what? Who are you? Like, get out of my face, Jimmy. And he was like,
Was he right? Was it 6 years?
6 years on the dot.
Wow.
Don't Speak was #1 around the world, and just such a weird
Do you feel like
thing.
looking back, you had the star quality? He said it to you. Did you know that you had like?
No.
You had no idea.
No, I can remember things happening though, like live. Like I can remember we had a lot of things happen. So like,
You know, Mark McGrath was in here and he was talking and he was telling a similar story. Like, I mean, he's an Orange County guy too. And it was like one day they were just playing and nobody knew them. And then the next day, like,
Was that how it was for you? Was it a snap or no?
it wasn't.
slow
It was
build?
really because we were built into this like automatic audience of the kind of music we were doing. There would be like, for example, I played in Vegas this week, last New Year's, and the guy that's like the CEO came into the room. He was like, you don't understand. Like, I used to be into all that music, and we used to take our scooters and rally to go see you guys play. Like, he's from Arizona. And like, so like the scene was very like loyal, and like everybody that was in it was like underground and they knew about it, and it was like their thing. Do you know what I'm saying? So like if you knew you were going to play with these bands, everybody that liked that music would show up. So we got really lucky in that way. And then as we kind of evolved, we started getting the haters like back then, like, oh, they're doing, that's not ska anymore. You know what I mean? This
The
is just
haters
so-
are good for you though, right? It's like
well, I mean,
good
we just didn't know anything that we were doing. So we would just make it up, and then it would be our next song. You know what I mean? So it was very like, but I can remember moments like where I'd be on stage and again, remember nobody in charge, like just we're in charge. And just feeling like, oh my gosh, like, I don't know, like I know what I'm doing up here.
One thing about you that I think that you did really well, and I'm wondering if this was strategic or just natural, is you stood out amongst all of the women that were coming up at that time. Like you were an outlier. Did
But
you
I
know
wasn't
you were doing
trying
that?
to do anything.
So you just
at
it was
all.
just naturally happened.
For me, it was like I was so me the whole time that I was so naive, and I didn't know anything like about anything else that was happening because I was from Anaheim. Like we never came up to LA. Like I remember the first time I came to Melrose to go shopping, and I got to like see all those punk rock stores and all the vintage stores, and because I was really super into like thrifting and anything that was old or vintage, and I used to make clothes a lot, so I was like very into like my own personal style, but only because probably like my grandma made my mom's clothes, her mom made her clothes, like my mom would make my clothes when I was little, so it was like a creative thing that was, I don't know why I like pizza so much. Like I just always liked clothes and like just being like different and wearing something that I thought was like cool and finding my style. It was just always just something I did. So the fact that like, and it was always done under really restricted situation where there was no money and how am I going to make this work, right? So it was like, I can remember my mom being like, okay, we're going to go to the mall for school shopping. And I'm like, I don't want to go to the mall. Like, can you just give me like $100 and I'll go buy like a bunch of stuff at the thrift store. And like, then I'd bring it home and like sew it and make it into whatever I was going to wear. Like
Resourcefully creative.
it was just fun. I don't know. And
do you think you handled, like when fame started happening, do you feel you handled it well, or was it something you had to adjust to?
I think I handled it really well because that naive, like innocent, just floaty personality I had was just like, okay, what's next? Like, I didn't think much about anything except for what was the next outfit I was going to wear and like how I was going to do my makeup on stage. And I don't know, I was just very simple back then at that time in my life. And I didn't really know anything about what was going on with like being signed and what that meant and like touring. They would just hand me the book and I'd be like, I know it makes me sound so dumb, but I was very much floating at that time. But I was doing all the creative part. That's the part that I like to do. Like
You were putting your energy towards what you needed
like
to
I
put.
was dreaming about like, what's the next look? Like, how are we going to do the set list? Like, how are we, that kind of stuff. So I don't know. It's weird to go back and think about all that stuff right now.
No, it's when you hear really successful celebrities talk, the really, really successful ones, it's a slow build. It's not like, sometimes I think in this day and age in 2024, people get famous like that. And I think it's so much better to be slow and not so quick.
My voice may be going away, but you know what's not going away? My hair. And that is because I have a very specific Skinny Confidential approved protocol. I have gotten so serious about my hair growth like never before. The first thing I did is, you guys know, I went from blonde to brunette. And that's been life-changing. And then I also started doing lots of scalp massage and microneedling. The other thing that I am doing is supplementation. And the supplement that I use for my hair is Nutrafol. So Nutrafol is the supplement. It's a #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement. It has over 1 million people that are seeing thicker, stronger, faster growing hair. I hear from so many of you that you've experienced thinning or shedding, and this is one of those supplements that's just designed to target that. You can go on Nutrafol.com and take their hair wellness quiz. There's like a personalized hair health plan that's based on your specific root cause. Everyone is obviously different, but they have you covered. Take the first step to visibly thicker, healthier hair. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering our listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping. All you're going to do is go to Nutrafol.com and enter promo code SkinnyHair. Find out why over 4,500 healthcare professionals and hairstylists recommend Nutrafol for healthier hair. That's Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com, promo code SkinnyHair. That's Nutrafol.com, promo code SkinnyHair.
You know, I've been drinking AG1 for a while now, and today I've got an extra special offer for you all so that you can start optimizing your health. For the last 8 years, I've been drinking AG1 every day, no exceptions. Taking care of your health isn't always easy, but it should at least be simple. It's just 1 scoop mixed in water once a day, every day, and it makes me feel energized. I feel focused. I feel clarity. I feel like I'm doing the right thing for my body. I feel like I'm hydrating. All of these great things feel strong. That's because each serving of AG1 delivers my daily dose of vitamins, minerals, pre and probiotics, and more. It's a powerful, healthy habit that's also powerfully simple. Shouldn't be exhausting. With just 1 scoop of AG1, it covers all of your nutrient needs. I've said for years, if I was only going to take 1 supplement, it could only do one thing, it would be AG1, because I know I'm getting the essential brain, gut, and immune health support with vitamins, probiotics, and nutrients from whole foods. I like to think of it as a nutritional insurance. I know I'm covering all the bases to start the day, which is why I love this product so much. It gives you a ton of bang for your buck. So like I said, if there's 1 supplement you should start with, it's AG1, and that's why I've partnered with them for so long. So if you want to take ownership of your health, start with AG1. Try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3 and K2. And for a limited time, you'll get 10 free AG1 travel packs. Yes, that's 10 travel packs with your first purchase at drinkag1.com/skinny. That's drinkag1.com/skinny. Check it out while this offer lasts.
Did you know water is good for you, but it's actually not so great for your hair? The calcium in our shower water is amplifying the damage that we all have in our hair from coloring and other salon services. And when I decided to change my hair from blonde to brunette, I obviously picked everyone's favorite, Kerastase. Kerastase is absolutely amazing. So it's this luxury professional hair care line. You all probably recognize it from the nicest, most luxurious salons. And Kerastase has finally come out with the solution for damaged hair, the new Premier Repairing Pre-Shampoo Treatment. Basically what this did for my hair is it took my hair from like a brittle blonde to a more thicker, more luscious, more shinier brunette. And I noticed it immediately. It's one of those products that you literally will put on your hair, take a shower, get out, blow dry your hair, and notice it right away. So the collection features 6 different products and an in-salon treatment. They all really hit the bases to remove the calcium buildup accumulating in our hair while also repairing it. So we're multitasking over here. If you've tried everything to repair your damaged hair, trust me and try Premier. You can visit Kerastase-USA.com and use code SKINNY15. You get 15% off your purchase. Standard exclusions apply. Offer valid through 5/31/2024. That's Skinny15 for 15% off your purchase at www.kerastase.com.
KERASTASE-USA.com.
I was also really old. Like, I was 26 when Just a Girl came out. I'd already
I
been.
look at you as like 19. And
I'd
that
been
old?
20. No, it's
well,
not old. It's not old.
It is
but
if you
it's
think
just, I
about.
just look
I'd
at
already
you
been in my band 9 years. It was us, Goo Goo Dolls, and it was an arena tour. And we'd never done something like that. We'd toured, but not like a huge arena. But I don't know. I would just like wake up in the morning, put on my rollerblades, like rollerblade around, get ready, put my makeup on. I had like my one outfit, and just get up there and be like, "You guys are about ready to get sliced. You have no idea what's going to come right now from me."
How big of a part is MTV playing back in this? Because we grew up with remember the Carson, what was the
TRL.
TRL
Oh yeah,
days?
it's huge.
Like, was that
it was
there
total
then?
MTV world, like being able to make a video and even getting on the radio because you're San Diego, we were like K-Rock, right? Because K-Rock
Was it 103.5? Was that it? No.
106.7.
106.7. What was 103.5? I thought that was another one too. But anyways,
103.5 is
all the young people are like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? What's a radio?
That's the shit right there. That's my that's Love Songs on the Coast, buddy.
Yeah, wrong one. You were listening to that when I broke up with
She
you.
broke up with me, and I was
Yeah,
just
wrong
there,
station.
I used to listen to the shit out of that. And then my boyfriend, I'd be like crying.
But
on the way home.
I remember we would come home from school back in the day, and you would turn on TRL, and that's how you would figure out like the 10 new songs to listen to, like because we didn't have,
yes,
like we were like right of that generation Napster, LimeWire days, which I'm sure you loved, but we didn't have like that was the discoverability. Now it's so hard to keep up with everything.
It is, and it's like it's so crazy because I have children that are teenagers, so it's like to watch them discover stuff. Like even like maybe I don't know 6 years ago when they started, when King started getting into music, it was like, how do you even know this band? Like how? But it's like the phone shows you all this stuff, so you're just able to like find it. And like I remember when King was like, "Oh, I think my favorite song of yours is Settle Down," which is like this No Doubt song that we did. Like it was one of the last songs that we did that nobody heard. I was like,
That's pretty
what?
cool.
Like, how do you like that song? Like that's a weird song to like, King. He's like, nobody knows that one. Well, what happened on that tour that was so crazy was I think we were supposed to be on the tour for like 8 weeks, which is forever if you think about it. Like your first.
Is it every night you're playing, or every other night, or how often?
I think we'd play like 3 in a row and then 1 off and then 2. It was pretty.
Intense.
It was a lot, and they had already been huge, so they were. What happened was. How it works is like you play like the big markets like the LA and New York and all that. And then there's secondary markets, they call them. And so the tour just kept getting extended because it was us, Google, we kept getting bigger, right? And everybody just kept getting bigger and the tour just kept getting bigger and bigger and they just kept adding dates.
And how many people are you playing in front of, you think?
It's an arena, so like anywhere from, it could be like 10,000 to 15,000.
Damn.
It's got to be the craziest feeling.
It was amazing. It was really amazing and really like in weird and lonely and just, I don't know how to describe it. You just feel like it's just everything blurs into each other every day, and you're in a different place, but you don't know where you're at.
And there's no cell phones everywhere?
No, there's no cell phones. And you just have like literally a little book that they give you that's like, okay, you have, and I would count, I'd be like, okay, 100 more shows. I'll be home in like 5 months or whatever. But that No Doubt tour, we basically did the Just a Girl video, walked to the airport, like from the shoot, and went on tour and didn't really come home for 2.5 years. And because Just a Girl came out, then it was Spiderwebs, then the third single was Don't Speak, which then at that point, that took like a year, and we started over with that song like worldwide. Like we ended up in India at the end. Like we were like, so I'd never even left. The furthest I'd been was San Francisco. And then we went one trip when I was 21, we went to Italy for 2 weeks. So for me, like I hadn't gone anywhere and it was just an amazing life. Like if there's anything that I could say was my number one thing about my success was the traveling, like to be able to see culture around the world and see how music ties us and pulls us all together. Like to have a song that is about my actual true life, be able to be translated in all these languages and people just somehow look at me like they know me and relate to me so much. It was like, that was the craziest part, I think, and the most fulfilling and just, I don't know, I learned so much about myself and about people and the traveling is just everything.
How does your friends and family feel when you're gone for 2 years? How does that work?
Well, I would come home like, like for little, like, okay. And I still lived at my parents'. So like, cause I left, I had probably like maybe $2,000 because you have to remember, let's back up. So when I was 20, around 19, so like right around actually the time when John had passed away, I was working at the mall with Tony, and I was working in this place called Plaza Sportswear, which was like a old ladies' women's pull-on pant like outfit thing, and I loved working there actually. And then I wanted to be like a makeup artist. I was like, they're so pretty, and like I know I can do that. Like I'm just gonna ask if they'll let me be a makeup artist. And I literally just went to my manager and was like, I really want to try to be a makeup artist over there. They're like, well, let's see if there's an opening or whatever. Just open the gate. They were like, go in, you're going to work for Borghese Ultima 2. Like, here's a little lab coat and pretend that you know what you're doing. Because they didn't teach me anything. They didn't send me to school. They didn't have reps come out. They were like, if you sell this many, you're going to get this old Calvin Klein sample of this fragrance and you can take it home. It's been used by 100 people, but you're going to win that. If you sell enough makeup,
what a prize.
I would be like, yes. Or if you sell enough makeup, you can take this old like eyeshadow that's been basically on display for people to use as your gift to come home to. And I was like, yes, that's how we did it in the old days. So I worked at the makeup counter for, I don't know how long, but it was really like, I didn't have any training. It would be like people would come in and be like, do my makeup. And I think for me, like that was just such an incredible thing to be able to give somebody that gift of makeup, because as we know, like when you feel your worst, it can really turn things around. And I could just remember women coming in just being desperate, like not knowing what to buy, not knowing how to feel beautiful. And I would just do their makeup and tell them how to wear it or whatever, and they'd buy something and they'd walk away like almost crying when they look at themselves in the mirror. So
was it weird for your friends and family when you come back from performing in arenas of 20,000 people, or was it normal?
My family was like, obviously nobody thought that was going to happen. And so when I would come home, like the dining room table would be literally full of like CDs and whatever it was that people had given my parents with like a Post-it with their name to sign.
That's cute, though. It sounds like your parents are super supportive.
They were really supportive. They learned really quick to say, no, we're not doing that anymore, because it would just be hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. And also, like, my dad, at the time, we had, we didn't have cell phones, so it would be like my answering machine would be there. So he'd be like, okay, like, I got all your messages off your answering machine. And, like, we had the little cassettes back then. And so I remember coming home and, like, listening to all my messages. And I don't know, it was... And then basically once that big tour was over, I was rich. And I went and bought a house. And me and my sister moved up to LA, and my house was like a little mini mansion. And it was just like, what? And that was when the real work started, because that was when it was like, okay, like I gotta be a real songwriter. Like I need to take myself seriously. Like I need to write. Like I suddenly got really serious about myself, and that's when we started writing this record called Return to Saturn, which took forever. And
you've been in the space a long time. You've seen probably the good, the bad, the ugly, all of it. In the beginning and maybe now, how do you filter out like who's there for the right reasons and who's there for the wrong reasons, especially when you're starting to have all that success? Because, especially in this town, people start to get attention and all sorts of people start to crawl out of every other kind of rock. How did you kind of navigate that?
It was a really small circle, like I am so close with my own family. You saw my brother's here. He does everything with me. Like my sister was living with me. And with No Doubt, we were just like a family. Like we did everything together, and all we ever did was No Doubt. Like at that time, we were just writing, just trying to, make another record. Everything that we did was centered around that. So there wasn't like a lot of room for anyone to even get into the inner circle. Yeah, it was just like such a small group of people. And the way we worked was we worked so hard. Like no one told us how to work hard, but like you think about it now and how things are different and how people's mentality is different. But like for us, it was like we would literally go to rehearsal and like I would be like, Dad, I need $5 because I need to get a microphone to rent. And he'd be like, out as well, like give me the $5. And it was just to rent a microphone so I could rehearse. And we would like basically, you know, my dad was one of the first ones to buy a video camera when they came out. And so we would like videotape ourselves at rehearsal. And we were like, we had such a buzz that we were at this place called Stomp Box in Orange County, and a lot of bands played there. It would be like, you know, a lot of heavy metal bands and, you know, just people trying to make it or whatever. And they have these little windows like you have at school, like a tiny little window. And we would have people like, look, we were nobody, but everybody would watch us in there because we would do these full shows. And I guess that's just how we got good, because we would just, like, if we were we'd start a song and we'd be like, you messed up, we'd start over again. Like, it was literally legit hard work that we put in on ourselves. And I don't know how you get, you know, at that time it was 5 people that would agree to do that, but it was meant to be, you know what I mean? And
what's your favorite memory of a song that you've written?
I think the most craziest one, which is very unusual, would be Don't Speak, because that's the song that still, like, even my little baby, he's like, my favorite song of yours is Don't Speak. And he's like 9. And I'm like, he doesn't know any of my songs really, but like he knows that one because everyone knows that song. I don't know how, but it just keeps living on. But my brother had written the original song, my older brother, and it had a completely different verse and different lyrics, like completely different. My brother was so eccentric. Like, we would practice all day and then we would leave, and then he would stay up all night smoking cigarettes and eating Fritos and like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and we'd come back and he'd have a masterpiece. Like, we'd be like, so mad, like, how did you do, you know? And he had done that with Don't Speak, started playing it to us, and we were like, the chorus was just a really amazing song, really amazing, but it was very long, very detailed. So the label was like, the chorus is incredible. You guys just need to like simplify it, you know? And that's where my brother's like, don't mess with me. Like, I don't want to hear anybody's input, you know what I mean? He's just such an artist kind of guy, eccentric. And he was making fun of that. And we sat down at the piano, me and him, and he goes, you and me, but he didn't do the lyrics. It was just do-do-do, because it used to be da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. It goes like this whole melody. And so that was like a really weird rewrite. It never happens. And the fact that was like a rewrite and became like such a huge song that is still around is, to me, the most craziest one. And like, the landscape of music is so different now. Like, now when I'm writing music, which I've been writing a lot of music. I have a whole record coming this year, which I'm just excited about. I feel like when I write now, it has to be like really, you go through different phases, because like obviously like during the solo period, I wrote outside the band and I was working with like professional songwriters. Like, I didn't even know that existed when I was in No Doubt.
People that just do nothing but write.
Like, yeah, and there's always like flavors of the month people that are like making all the hits. Like, you know, I remember with Pharrell, he had never written outside of hip hop, right? When I first met him. And like, for whatever reason, I think it was probably Jimmy's idea for us to go in together, and I really wanted to do it. He was in his band Nerd. We were in No Doubt, and it was like, come on, guys, we got to go do this. We'd never written outside of the group. And so anyways, we went in the studio with Pharrell, and he was just this freaking cute guy at Record Plant, comes in on one of those like Razor scooters, like looking like a babe. And he had like 5 different studios going at one time. And he played us like 5 tracks, and one of them was hella good. And we were like, that's the one we're going to do. And like within like maybe 15 minutes, like I was like, I want to write a song called Hella Good, because I think that's I want it to be a dance song. I want it to be fun, like nothing deep. And we wrote the song. It was like over. Like, I don't even know how we did it. It was just done. And then the band was very like, I don't know about that song, because it was so different for us, you know? And I kept listening to it. I was like, you guys are freaking crazy if we don't do this song. This song is like incredible, like da-da-da. And so that was the first time working kind of outside of the group and working with somebody that was so far out of our genre. Like, he's a genius, you know? And so then I went on to get to work with him a bunch. But it's just always my best work that I feel like ever do, and including this interview, like anything that I'm ever good at is when I'm collaborating with people that are good at what they do, you know? And it's like that energy of like, especially when it's kind of coming from different worlds, is where when it collides together and it actually turns into something new and fresh, that's what I thrive on the most.
It's like the juxtaposition of it just works.
Yeah.
That song, by the way, I remember grinding you on your penis and clothes.
Oh my
Nice.
goodness.
All right.
Wow. When I was writing that, I was
think
thinking.
I was 19.
So should I? Maybe,
I was hoping that was going to happen when I wrote that song.
so
I was
maybe I
writing.
owe you a thank you, I guess.
You're welcome.
So what was you did the dance album. What was the first thing that deterred from music? Like you've obviously done a lot of different things besides music. What was the first thing?
Well, I wanted to do acting like you would if you got famous and you were like, I want to be an actress, you know? So I started reading a lot of scripts and like going to a lot of castings and, you know, I feel like I ended up doing a couple little things, but it really wasn't for me. Like after, like, it wasn't for me. But I also, I don't know why I got the idea, but I guess because I had always made my own clothes, I wanted to do a clothing line. I was like, it was so naive. I was like, I'm going to do a clothing line. Like, I don't know how you think you're going to do this because you've never done that before and you're just going to do it. And I was like, no, I'm doing it, like to myself. So my agent at the time, I said, I want to do a clothing line. And then it was one of those, again, like synchronicity, like God things where this guy calls up. He's like, hey, would Gwen want to do a clothing line? Like I started doing it and I did Lamb and I just came up with the whole like, okay, it's going to be Lamb, Love, Angel Music, Baby. And just started creating this brand out of nothing. And at the same time, this guy came to me to do handbag designing for Le Sport Sac, which was...
I had one.
Yeah, and you know, they were huge in the 70s and then they were kind of having a little comeback and they were trying to get it cool again. And so this guy that had owned it at the time was like, would you want to be a guest designer? And like for me, again, I was talking about the 90s and how people thought. Like if I did something and tried to sell it to people that were my fans, I feel like they would think like, you're just trying to get our money. Like, what are you doing? And for me, I was like, no, I'm doing this because I love to design clothes and I want to make my own dream closet and da-da-da. And then when he said designer, guest designer, like it tickled my like ego. I was like, that's cool. Like feels arty, you know? And so I did it. And I just thought like, oh, I know what it needs to be. And then you couldn't even like walk down the street in New York without somebody having that bag. It was like the greatest like received thing. And that to me was like validation, like, wow, like they don't mind. They just want whatever it is. Like they just want to be part of it, you know? And whoever these people are that love me and I love them. So I was like, I'm just going to, so then I started Lamb and that was like a really huge chapter. And at the same time of doing the, you know, the bags and the clothing line, which was crazy. Like I had a place in New York on Broadway. I had a showroom. Like it was weird, but it was really amazing to be doing fashion show, runway shows in New York with just coming up with ideas. I put my whole like heart and mind and body, everything into that line. And then it like, I did the first solo record, which was again, like the most creative I think I've ever been able to be free and just be like, I didn't even know I was gonna feel that way. I just want to do a dance record. And it just like, my mind was exploding.
Is it because you got to just do everything you wanted to do without having to worry about, not that collaboration was bad, but it was just like, you didn't have to maybe get approval or have it run through anybody but you?
I think it just felt like there was no limit. Yeah. Like I could be girly. I could have background dancers. I could wear costumes. I could do costume changes. Like everything that I couldn't really do in the band because we already had our own kind of aesthetic and our own rules. But yeah, definitely. But I didn't really think I thought about that at the time. It just felt like an explosion. And then after that was like, you know, I was about ready to go on the tour, which I wasn't going to tour on those records because I didn't want to take that away from the No Doubt time or whatever. But I was like, I got it. It was just like in me to do it because like, how do I not tour this now? Like it was so huge and so amazing and so creative. And so I was ready to do that. It was going to be a really short tour and I find out I'm pregnant with Kingston. And I was in rehearsals and I was like so sick and like I had twisted my ankle and it was like the saddest tour. It's like the first time I had to work with this band, first time I ever had dancers, first time I ever did costume changes, first time being pregnant. And I think I like, you know, cried like every night, threw up. And my costumes were like every time, like first time I had boobs, like it was like everything at first. And the costumes just kept getting like expanded. But yeah, that was the beginning of the babies. And so there was a lot of output during that Love Angel Music Baby phase.
How many years did you do The Voice?
I
Have you
did
done
The Voice 8 seasons.
Wow. Okay.
So it's not years because it's like I didn't do them consecutively, but it's been, I started Apollo's going to be 10 in February, the end of February.
So 8 seasons, but if you were to like correlate, it was like a 10-year period.
Oh my God, that sounds so crazy.
The first time you did The Voice, the first episode, did you immediately know, like, I'm exactly where I should be? This is amazing. Or did it take some time to get into?
I basically got a call the same time as I got the call for The Voice from Pharrell. And I'm literally laying in bed, like, after giving birth 5 weeks. And he's like, hey, I'm going to be at the Coachella. You want to come down and, like, sing Hollaback with me? I was like, well, I'm like, I was like, maybe I can do it. Like, maybe I can go down there. And I packed the baby up. And this is, you got to remember, Pharrell had kind of died out, and I feel like nobody was believing in him. And he comes back and he has like 3 huge hits. He has Happy. He has the Daft Punk song. I can't think of the name of it right now. And then he had like one other. They were 3 gigantic hits out of nowhere. And he was just like, I'm not done yet. So I went down there, and I remember it was like a sandstorm. I had the baby on the bus, and he was tiny, 5 weeks, and did the Hollaback Girl. And that was the start of it. And then that same season, they were like, guess who the other coach is going to be? It's going to be Pharrell. And so for me, like, I had never done it. But again, like, in my own naive way, I just was like, I didn't think about it hard. I just kind of like, I was busy nursing and trying to do 2 toddlers. And it was, I guess the babies were older, but they were crazy. And just went down there and just did it. I started watching like a lot of the episodes just so I could see what the game was, And everybody there was just like incredibly friendly. It was like a family. Everybody was they automatically thought I was like going to do this thing, and I just believed that I could do it. And it was so amazing and so much fun. And it was a perfect inspiration for me because there's so much music that you see and so much hope and so much fresh dreams. And then you can look back on your own career and go, oh my gosh, like I did that. And that's like super like fuel for your own fire. And then me and Pharrell end up like, he's knocking on my door and he's like, I got this track. And we wrote this song called Spark the Fire together. And it was just like a really like comeback, new life, rise from the ashes moment.
Do you care about your health and well-being? Do you care about the health and well-being of your family, of your friends, the people that you have in your homes, your pets, anyone? If you do, you are crazy to not be thinking about replacing all of your household cleaning supplies with Branch Basics. Lauren and I have had the founder of Branch Basics on this show, hearing her entire story about why this brand exists, and it was mind-blowing. If you haven't listened to that episode, I highly suggest you do so. Just search the Skinny Confidential Branch Basics, and I'm sure you can find it. Anyways, I didn't realize how much these products were affecting me until Lauren got them out of our house and replaced them with Branch Basics. For those of you that don't know what Branch Basics is, Branch Basics is free of fragrance, hormone disruptors, and harmful preservatives that wreak havoc on our health. They are safe enough, like I said, to use around your babies, your pets, and they can replace your household cleaning supplies with cost-effective products that just do a better job and keep your health in mind, like I said. Their premium starter kit replaces all of your harmful cleaning products in the home. Since moving to Texas and getting out of LA, Lauren completely got rid of all of our old harmful chemical cleaning supplies and replaced them with Branch Basics. And I've noticed an immense difference, and you can too. Their premium starter kit replaces all of your harmful cleaning products in the home. Branch Basics now has a new luxurious gel hand soap made with only the safest ingredients to nourish your skin. Save 15% on your starter kit or their new hand soap when you use code SKINNY at www.branchbasics.com. Again, that is code SKINNY for 15% off when you purchase a starter kit or their new gel hand soap. branchbasics.com, promo code SKINNY.
Let me tell you about the best gift to get a new mother. Truly the best gift. It's the gift of sleep. And you know what helps moms get sleep? Is a gently weighted sleep sack. How do I know this? Because I use one every night, and it's literally how I get sleep. My son uses the best of the best. I talk about it to everyone. A Dreamland Baby gently weighted sleep sack. They come in the best colors, and he loves it. He associates this sleep sack with sleep. When I pull it out, his eyes get tired, and then he puts it on, and he feels like it's a warm hug from mom. And he lays down in his bed and he coos and he goes to sleep. And not only does he go to sleep faster, he stays asleep longer. I am not kidding you when I say last night he slept from 7:30 to 7:30. It's truly a dreamland at my house, thanks to Dreamland Baby. I tell every single new mom to go get one of these. You're going to go to dreamlandbabyco.com and enter our code SKINNY at checkout. You receive 20% off site-wide plus free shipping. This offer is for new and existing customers, and it really is the best gift for yourself or a mom. It's the dream-weighted sleep sack. You're going to love it. You're going to sleep harder. Your baby's going to sleep harder, and you're just going to be happier. They are helping over 500,000 families get more sleep. Go to dreamlandbabyco.com and enter code SKINNY.
One thing that I'm loving right now is a mineral tinted sunscreen. And there is this brand that not only protects your skin from UV aging, but it also is a mineral sunscreen with potent antioxidants. The brand is OneSkin. I actually had the founder on the podcast because I'm so fascinated by what they've created. I'm obsessed with the tinted one on their site. There's an untinted one too if you don't want to tint. They have other products too. All of their products are science-based. So they have like an eye cream that Michael really likes. He gets under eye bags and he gets like purple under his eyes. And everything about their eye cream is designed to target the delicate areas and reduce signs of aging, which is so amazing. The mineral sunscreen though, you gotta get. I've gone through like 6 bottles. It's mineral, which we want, like I said, and tinted. They gave you guys a code. I've used my own code before. The secret to OneSkin's products is that they're powered by a scientifically proven peptide. And the peptide is OS1. This peptide reduces damaged aging cells. OneSkin is the world's first longevity company. By focusing on cellular aspects of aging, OneSkin keeps your skin looking and acting younger for longer. Get started today with 15% off using code SKINNY at oneskin.co. That's 15% off at oneskin.co with code SKINNY. After you purchase, they'll ask where you heard about them. Please support the show and tell them we sent you. Help your skin stay younger and healthier for longer with OneSkin.
And remind me on the show, was Blake there right away or did he come later?
Yeah, Blake and Adam were originals.
They were the originals.
Yeah, and Christina and CeeLo.
Okay.
And then when I took over for Christina just for that season. And but Blake, like I said, nursing, like I didn't really get to know people too good, and we're all in reality the entire time. So it's like you leave your trailer, you're mic'd, and you don't really you'll have a meeting with like the producers. They'll be like, okay, we're gonna do this scene or whatever, but you're just pretty much there's no time to really hang out with people. Mm-hmm. So I didn't really get to know Blake that season. I do remember discovering him because I didn't know who he was before. I didn't even know he existed in the planet. I didn't know country.
Perfect. That's the way to get the guy, guys. That's the way to get the guy.
I don't even know if Lauren knows I exist still. I'm right over here.
Well, I literally didn't see him in any way, but he's a superstar because on that show he's incredibly funny. He's witty. He's fast. He's
everything comes to you naturally. Do you
so
do
funny.
Manifestation or something? I feel like
pray
it
a lot.
flows through you or something.
I pray a lot. I've always been very I was brought up Catholic, but from a very young age, it was pretty a good experience. Just through my life, it's always been where I go to lean on. And when you know the backstory of my life and who I was nobody, absolutely a zero person, to be able to all of a sudden write a song out of nowhere, it's a miracle.
So why did you decide to start your makeup line? Tell us about your makeup line. How did this transpire? I mean, obviously you've always had a love for makeup.
I have always had a love for makeup. I don't know why, just always obsessed with it my whole life. I told you I was a makeup artist, but then after Lamb and Harajuku, I had those 2 brands, and I want to do something creative. I have no idea. I didn't know what I would be married to Blake. I didn't know anything that was going to happen next. I just knew that if I didn't do something creative, that how would I be me anymore? I just felt really worried about that. So I really thought about all of the different kind of categories I've been in. And for me, doing the fashion line was amazing, but it was very much geared towards my body and what I would wear. And it really excluded a lot of people. If you really think about it, when I did the handbags, it was anyone could sling on a bag, or when I did the shoes, anyone can wear a shoe. And you know, the thing is that when you have success, and I'm sure you guys know, like the more people you touch, the more you taste that. Like I really wanted to do something that I thought was my true passion. And for me, all of those things were great, but I did them. So I was like, I'm going to do a makeup line. Like I feel like I am the like most authentic. Like I've gotten in so much trouble for my makeup through the years. Like, you know, what's under that mask? Like, why is she wearing? You know, like all the things that I got. Like, and also just like, I look at the influence of the makeup. Like even from like now, you can start to see it. Even though the makeup was pretty bad at certain points, because you know, you grow, you learn. But I just want to do makeup line. And at the end of the day, that was what, like 6 years ago. So that was a long time, maybe even now getting closer to 7 years ago when I started the process. And here we are. And here it is. And it's like, it's been really amazing, but also super hard, as you know, like hard. It's just so many amazing products out there, so many amazing lines that are out there. But I always felt like it's like with makeup, you could never have enough makeup. Like there's never going to be enough. Like as soon as you fall in love with one thing, you're going to be like, oh my God, now I'm in love with this.
Well, if I'm buying a red lipstick, I'm buying it from your line. I'm buying a red lipstick from Gwen Stefani. Like there's no doubt. If someone has to start with one product with our audience, what would you tell them to gravitate towards?
I would probably, I'm never going to put something out that I don't absolutely love, because at the end of the day, selfishly, I'm going to be making it for myself. But like, I think our mascara is the one thing I would start with, because it's kind of like a guaranteed, like you're going to for sure love it. And you know what I mean? You just know that you're going to love it.
Okay, so you would start with the mascara.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to have you apply the red lipstick to me on TikTok. So you guys will have to go watch that. I don't know how to apply lipstick. So you'll have to No. I don't know how to, like, I mean, I can put it on, but like, I don't know the tricks.
This is the thing. The thing about makeup, I feel like, is like putting makeup on yourself is one thing. Like to me, that's like all day long, easy. Like I've always done my own makeup for every single show I've ever done. Like I still do I did my last campaign myself. Like I do it. I did not do my makeup today. Paid extra for you guys.
You do your own makeup for all your shows.
So many things,
like
a lot of things. And I love doing my own makeup. But in the last probably like 6 years, I was really scared of makeup artists. I had like a really bad experience early on. And
like just doing a bad job, or like
just like go back and look at the first No Doubt record before Tragic Kingdom. No offense to whoever did my makeup. But like I was so naive, I didn't know. And they're like, you're going to have a makeup artist. And I was like, okay. Like, meanwhile, like I had been a makeup artist, you know what I'm saying? And I know how, like, I feel like my face is like somewhere between like drag and, you know what I mean? Like I need a lot, like I like to wear a lot of makeup. You know what I'm saying?
Well, no one knows your face better than you, too.
Yeah. And so I know exactly what makes it look the way it looks. And this person had done my makeup very washy, and a lot of makeup artists, especially during that time period, were very like modelly, like dewy, and like just very less is more. And so I saw it and I was like, I don't think I look good, but maybe when the lights come on, or maybe when the camera goes on, like it will look better. Like I didn't know, because I'd never done a photo shoot like that, you know? And so, nope, I looked just like how I looked in the mirror, and I was like, so I just at that point was like, I'm always doing my own makeup. I don't care. And so I did. And then I would use like people on like, you know, if I did a magazine cover or whatever, and it was always so traumatic. Like, I mean, traumatic for me.
So then you're just like, I'm just going to take matters in my own hands.
Yes. And so I would always do. But then I feel like in the last 15 years, like I did the collab with Urban Decay and did a palette. And that's when things started really.
I use that.
That was really, and I think the challenge of doing that palette was what really made me want to do.
That was a good palette.
Yeah. And Wendy was so fun to work with, because everything was like, I'm so used to like, no, we can't do that. We can't do that. She's like, yes. No. I was like, but do you think I don't care what people think. You do what you want. Like she was so like that with me. And I was like, this is so fun. Like, and I think that color is hard. Like it was challenging for me to like figure out what would be good for me and everybody. Like, and then me and Blake would like watch everybody online, because that's when online started like getting crazy, and you could get on there and like see everyone take what I created and create their own creation outside of, like, it's different than like just buying a pair of pants. Like it was like, wow, I never would have thought to wear it like that. Like, and everybody was making their own creation out of the makeup, and it was like so intriguing and exciting. And I think that like that world is so creative, and it felt so, you know, I don't know if you guys think it still's like this, but it feels like everybody lifts each other up. Everybody's promoting each other. Everyone's taking what you did and copying it, but making it their own, you know, and it just felt really fresh and exciting, the idea of that, you know, and yeah, I just think that part of the community is just really, it's really cool, you know.
Well, I'm excited to try the mascara. I'm really excited to try the red lip. It looks amazing.
I did actually wear a red lip today. And
I thought you were going to come in for a red lip.
No, because
I could have sworn.
They said they wanted me to wear, and it was my first red lip of the year because I wore it for New Year's, and then I was like, I don't know, with this hair, I felt like it was like a little much. I was like, guys,
whatever you're
I'm
wearing
taking the red lip.
Is what you're wearing right now.
This is Tomboy. This is a liquid lip. It might be this. I can't. Oh, that's flannel. But yeah, it's a liquid lip, and then I just put on some gloss on top of it. But it's so fun doing the makeup. Like the dream when you're creating, and like you get to work with the factories and the people that are behind the scenes. It's just, I'm sure it's the same when you create your guys' dreams come true and you get them in a box and you get to share them. It's
amazing.
It is
it's
the craziest feeling ever. And I think with the makeup, it is super challenging because like you'll have a product, you'll have an idea, and it's so far out before it comes out, and then like 2 weeks before you launch, you're like, oh my god, Patrick Starr, you cop! No, you know, like it's so competitive, and you'll be like, oh, I can't believe they're putting that out right now, and it's so frustrating. But
You got beef with Patrick?
no, I love him.
Patrick's been on the show.
You know, I got to be on his show, and he did my makeup. And
that's cool.
Yeah,
he's good at makeup.
He's amazing. I love his concealer too. He's got this amazing concealer, and it's just a super challenge.
That's going to be the headline now. It's going to say Gwen Stefani, Patrick Starr, huge. That's going to be the only thing they pull from the whole thing.
Perfect.
Yeah, right.
I love you, Patrick. He knows we had so much fun, and his show was like, God, like how do you get that good at like social media? Like,
he's good.
What? Like.
Yep.
You guys are
Very
good
talented.
too. You guys are really good.
Thank you.
Thanks
We're
for
gonna
letting me
spend
talk
the next,
my ass off about myself all day long.
Yeah, we're going to spend the next
I love
hour
that.
now. I'm going to tell you about my life now. It's gonna
Okay,
be
I'm
about
ready.
others.
I know.
No,
That's for
I
you.
love it.
We need an autobiography.
Yeah.
We need a book. You got to write a book.
You know what? You are very easy to talk to. You're
Yes.
awesome.
Thank you.
This was fun. Not that I had any doubt, but you know.
Humble, down to earth, very inspiring. I'm inspired by your story. It's so cool to hear the whole trajectory of it. Where can everyone find you? I'm sure they already follow you, but your makeup line, where can they shop it? Tell us all the things.
I don't know. Gwen Stefani online. I don't know. No, we're at Sephora. Been amazing partners. It's been, you know, it's interesting because through my career you have partners and people come and go, but I feel like they get me, and they've always been like super like supportive, and it's been really cool to work with them. So we're at Sephora, which is very fun. We're online. GiveBeauty.com, guys.
Love it. Thank you so much for
Thank
coming
you.
on.
Oh my gosh.
Gwen
Thank
Stefani,
you.
you are a legend. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.